Let's stay on topic and go deeper in the analysis of Honduras' upcoming general elections. We welcome analyst and human rights specialist David Lopez. Welcome, David, too, from the South.
Thank you. Thank you very much today from Geneva.
It's a pleasure to have you as always. David, we are less than 24 hours away from the election day. We can say that lots has happened during the campaign period, especially framed on the denunciation of far-right opposition sectors' attempts to hijack the voting transmission system. So what is the atmosphere right now in Honduras as the election day closes?
So right now, something at the international level, it's very worried because some behavior from Washington are very delicate. So 48 hours before the elections, have declarations from President Trump who mentioned that he pardoned to Juan Orlando Hernandez and put him on freedom after to be condemned 45 years for narcotics, weapon traffics, etc. This is a very, very delicate behavior. Overall, when he mentioned that if his candidate wins, so we understand that the candidate of the United States right now is Nasri Asfura. If he wins, it will be money for Honduras. But if he don't win, so Honduras will not have money from the United States. This is a very, very delicate violation of the UN Charter, Article 2.1 and Article 2.7, who guaranteed the non-intromission of the domestic policies of other countries, and it violates as well the right of the self-determination inscribed under Article 1 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, recognized as well by the United States.
As we were saying, the U.S. interference in the election also comes in a context, as we have been discussing for a couple of months now, of the military deployment in the Caribbean, trying to coerce in a way also nations in Latin America, especially against Venezuela. So is there a relation? Do you think there's a coincidence there, a relation in these actions?
Yes, I think that this is a geopolitical context we are living right now in Honduras, because of course for the United States it's not interesting that a country who traditionally was every time dominated by the White House today has again the possibility to lose one part of the Central American territory, maybe to control all the Caribbean, to have the possibility to manage much more the military conditions to attack Venezuela. We have to understand, as I mentioned you before, that this is incredible that on the public positions, President Trump mentioned that he will intervene Venezuela because he have narco traffickers who export cocaine to the United States, and they have to fight against them and as well against the Colombian government. And he mentioned that he will intervene military Venezuela and maybe Colombia if that continue. But at the same time, he pardoned and put in freedom a former president who was condemned by the U.S. authorities for 45 years because narcotics and because weapon traffic between the United States and Honduras. So this is a contradiction, and we see there that it have not in Honduras the interest to respond and to respect the international law and the domestic laws of Honduras, but to respond in a geopolitical context who will give the opportunity to the United States to attack maybe much more easy, or make in any case much more military pressures over Venezuela and maybe Colombia and other countries of the region.
We have seen that President Donald Trump has made conditional the delivery of international aid and any kind of support to Honduras on the option that the candidate that he wants, the far-right candidate, wins the election day. What will be the humanitarian impact for the Honduran people, and what will be the impacts of the impositions of these kinds of policies, of strategies throughout the region?
Yeah, but so this is very delicate, because we have to remember that Latin America is a peace region who was as well defended on biggest geopolitical context and point of view, we have to remember that Moscow talk on public to protect and respect this level of peace we have in Latin America, as well China, and as well many other countries, as well the European Union. They mentioned that it's very dangerous to have some behaviors like the United States in Latin America, because we can conduct the country and the Latin American people to a war. And this behavior of the United States make that they don't care about the Latin American people, and if they have to bring these people in a war who respond only to the interests of the capital of the United States, not the interests of the US people, but only to the interests of the White House and the people who support the White House policies behind, they don't care if the people have to go in a war. This is very complicated, and it attend and violate the basic international rules ratified as well by the United States, by all the Latin American countries. And it's for this reason that we need to have an eye today over the elections in Honduras. I think that the people in general, in the context we have right now, the Rixi Moncada, the candidate of the officialist government, has the great possibilities to win the election and continue this policy where the poverty of the reduction of the poverty was a very strong point of this country, of this actual government, and it will continue with her. But if it not continue because of the pressure of the United States, we can have a very dark and worried situation on the region.
As we were saying, let's now pretend, let's do a little bit of guesswork in a way. Let's pretend it's Monday, Honduras has a new elected government. What development priorities should the next government focus on, and what key challenges will it face, coming from taking into context all the foreign interventionist actions and all the situation right now in the region?
So independently of the candidate who will win, it's important to take in consideration the first step, the interest of the Honduran people. Actually, the actual government has made a very good policies to respond to the poverty reduction, to the public health, and many other policies who are needed not only in Honduras but in the majorities of the Latin American countries. And this is maybe the first point that has to make the next president, independently who will win. And the second one is to ask to the United States, all the countries, to respect the international law. We see what happened if we don't respect the international law. You can look what happened in Palestine. You can see what happened right now with the possibilities of the United States to invade Venezuela. You can see what happened as well in Africa and the geopolitical situation in the Sahel. This is enough. I think that the next president who will arrive to the power on the next government has to require the respect of the international law and the respect of the self-determination of Honduras and all the region, who actually with this behavior it's put on the middle of a big dangerosity of a war.
Thank you very much, David Lopez, for your time here from the South, for these inputs as we head for the elections in Honduras on Sunday, November 30th.